Hey everyone, and welcome back to the channel. In this video, we're going to be comparing Nexter's form builder, between the free version and the pro version. Okay, so let's go ahead and assume that you've already installed the Nexter theme, the extension, and the blocks. Well, really only need the blocks, but first let's go ahead and enter the blocks tab over here and make sure that under blocks, um, let's enable everything, right? And obviously for the pro ones, they're going to be locked since we only have Nexter free enabled. Okay, since everything is enabled, that makes it certain that we're going to get the form block when we make a page. So we're going to go ahead and name this something simple like okay, and then let's go ahead and add in our oops. Well, that didn't save, so let's go ahead and save this. Let's go back over here. Make sure everything was enabled. Again, see, that's one of the reasons why we go ahead and test that out first. Enable all. I think there may or may not be a save. All right. And then let's reload this and see what happens next. Okay, there we go. We get Nexter blocks again. So all you do is type form, and here we get our form. Right? You can import pre-designed templates, but that's not something we're really concerned with right now. Let's design it from scratch, and you can see we have two layouts here: simple contact form and newsletter form. Let's take a look at both, right? And we'll explore everything. So as you can see here, um, one major thing that you want to take a look at when it comes to messing with Nexter's forms is that here under the block builder, let's go ahead and select outside, right? We've selected the paragraph. When we open our block inserter here, it's just going to be every single block. But the moment that we select a form, right? We select a form, you can see that the Nexter blocks sorts itself into two. So basically what these are, right? What these 8 little blocks are elements that you can put within your little form block over here. So, radio, we can add like multiple options, 1, 2, 3, right? And we can add labels here for the drop down. Okay. And you won't be able to insert anything. Well, you won't be able to insert anything in between, as you can see, right? So that's something to be mindful of when you go ahead and try to customize and configure your Nexter form. So let's go back here to the parent block. Okay, we'll select this, right? And you can see here we have our basic options, right? For content, we have a few different styles to choose from. However, you can see that clearly these are pro options. Okay, and its form is very basic, easy to understand. You input your input here and then you submit it. Right, for the email one, you can see it's just an email address and a submit button. Okay, and then the way you customize these, well, we'll take a look at that in a short while. So you can see right away that between free and pro, that the pro block has it locked. The next important difference is the action after submit. If you click on this, you can see email is selected by default. If you remove it, the email tab goes away. So email, and then we can see here that you can input your email, and you can format how it looks like when it's sent to you. So email heading or subject, you can put this, it's required here. You can put this as, this is a form entry from so-and-so page, right? You can even put metadata here. You might not even need to do that, right? You can put page URL and it's going to appear when you finally, when somebody sends something in the form to your email, that it's going to include the time and date and remote IP for each one, just so you can filter out spam and whatnot. You can configure it on your email. Similarly, the next option here is we have redirect, and it could redirect you to a different page altogether, right? So these are the only two actions. And you see no options remain under action after submit. And that's the limitation of Nextr Free. And in a while, we'll show you what it looks like. Next, again, extra options, form IDs. We can change style. Again, we can change the typography. It's the same as every single block we have on Nextr and WordPress that we can customize every single one, right? We can change the margins, we can change the input, we can change the color, typography, you name it, right? Global block style, spacing, and these are just common to everything, right? Extras, you see, it just comes with Pro. Some other features may or may not be locked, okay? But nonetheless, these are, this Nextr Freeze block is very powerful nonetheless. All right, so let's take a look at each individual field. So you can see the fields here, they all have their own little options that you can configure, right? So beyond just configuring here on the parent block, the layout and the action after submit, each one of these we can configure or add something. So for instance, we can add a tooltip to our text. We can make it required or not. You can see the red asterisk is going to appear over here. We can change where the description is going to be, and then we can change the error message if you don't put something in it. We can add an icon to this. All right, let's just choose a random one over here. There you go. Just to make it easier, a bit more accessible, and HTML anchor additional CSS classes. You can also change the width of the field, right, to fit wherever we need to, whether it's pixels, EM, or percent. You can also change it on desktop, tablet, or mobile to make it responsive, right? You really wouldn't want to have a field that overflows your user's mobile device because it might be hard to actually use when you can restrict it on their phone. Okay, so the difference between just an ordinary form and the email form is just that whatever comes with it in default. You could make a simple newsletter email form based on the ordinary form that we were prompted with, just have to delete everything else. Okay, so let's go ahead and save and take a look at how this looks like on our website. Again, it's not about making it so pretty, but again, it's about comparing between the two of them. So there you go, there's your form. If I don't submit anything properly, it's going to say field is required. You name it. I can select the radio box. We have a few different options to choose from, right? It's very functional and it works. And we have a series of videos taking a look at how to use forms in very specific use cases, right? So let's go ahead and return back to the dashboard. Okay, let's go under plugins. And let's go ahead and enable Nextr Blocks Pro. Let's activate that. And once that's activated, there you go. We can go to Nextr Blocks and go to, there you see, Pro. And then under Blocks, make sure that you have Pro here. They're all disabled. Enable all, and everything is now enabled. And it should be saved with that pop-up over there. So now let's go ahead and reload this, and we should see these go away. Okay, with those out of the way, you can see that our layout starts to change, and it starts to look a bit more professional. So I'm fairly certain you've seen some of these. You may not even need to put descriptions or anything. Maybe these, well, something like this might be more minimalistic, a bit more streamlined, and a bit easier on the eyes, right? On each one of these, you probably see that we have our Nextr extras enabled, but that's not really anything too special, right? Because some of these have tooltips by default. Some of the blocks, that is, have tooltips by default, and you're not really unlocking anything um, functionality-wise, right? You can always add that separately, and you have the description here too, anyway. However, where it does matter is if we were to click on Form and Action after Submit, right? Remember earlier we only had email and redirect. Now if we click down on the drop down over here, you can see we have so many more options. So database entry, auto-respond email, ActiveCampaign, Brevo, ConvertKit, GetResponse, MailChimp, MailerLite, Drip, Webhook, Slack, and Discord, right? Just as an example, MailChimp, over here, we get this MailChimp tab. You'll need an API key and audience ID, but that's its own separate topic, right? And let's go ahead and take a look at every single one over here, right? Let's activate all of these just so you can see what we're going to be working with and what you may need to prepare if you're going to choose to go with Nextr, since it has this built-in form plugin. So again, email is the same, right? You put your email here, you put your subject heading in whatever metadata that you want to include with your email. Redirect, you just put a link over there. ActiveCampaign, custom API key, API URL, which is just common to every single external plugin, right? You always need an API key. Brevo, just an API key. MailChimp, ConvertKit, GetResponse, MailerLite, group IDs with needs, account ID and API key, Drip, Webhook, URL over there, Slack, authentication token and channel name, Discord, Webhook URL, and your username. So, that's kind of a cool thing to do, is that you can receive your form entries through Discord, make it a bit easier, through Slack, which I think is really nice. And that's basically it. While it might not seem too amazing, besides the style options, right? I like this one a lot, by the way. It's what makes this so beautiful is it's very easy to use the forms without having an external plugin, which is what makes Nextr so streamlined. And not only that, when you get Pro, you don't really just pay for these features, right? It just allows you to use your already existing ecosystem if you have your newsletter system in place anyway. And as you can see here for the Nextr extras, these were disabled because we didn't have Pro, but now they're enabled. And it's not only just for these blocks, it's for every single block that exists within our license, right? And again, you'll see that the scroll button, the scroll little tab bar thing, has now shrunk. And as you can see, we now have so many more other blocks here that we can use that we wouldn't be able to otherwise, right? So it's not just the forms. Okay, so let's go ahead and let's save this, and nothing really like special is going to happen. The form's still going to stay the same nonetheless. It's more of the things on the back end, right? The actions after submit, and you can see here, that matter more. So let's reload this, and you can see the layout's going to change and nothing else, and it just makes it a bit more convenient for us. So is Nextr Pro worth it for you? Well, again, the main selling point of Nextr is that you don't have to download so many external plugins. You might be using these external services, but that's already a given. But not only is Nextr Pro just for the form block, you get so many more blocks over here and many, many more other options. So, if you found this video helpful, please leave a like, comment, and subscribe to our channel, as it really helps us out with the YouTube algorithm to show this kind of video to other nerds like us. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you on the next one. Hey, if you want to know where to get the blocks that we used in this video to make forms real simple, real easy, check out the link in the description. It'll take you to the website of Nextr, where you can get the Nextr blocks yourself. Now, if you check out the pricing, they have 3 different levels: starter, professional, and studio, We recommend getting the Studio one because it's a one-time payment. It's lifetime. You get all the blocks. You don't have to worry about not having the right blocks to get what you need done. Thanks again, and we'll see you on the next one. Hey, if you found this video helpful, be sure to check out one of our other videos, or go ahead and check out our channel and subscribe to see more content like this.